Big up, big up, big up. Welcome, welcome, welcome all to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm Liverpool 12th Man, and we are live right now as we push a little bit further into the getting closer into the end of the season. Um, Bunch of stuff going on, different things going on in I'm sure everyone's lives, on their own personal lives, and my own as well. Trying to stay positive and motivated, you could say. But we are in search of going for what is above me right there, and that is to be in contention to be able to pursue that title next season. And that's going to take us getting to the end of the line, basically. With the necessary points, it looks like we're going to be gifted a Champions League berth, but you know what but you all know that, it took a little bit more out of all of us seeing the collapse yesterday because we're going to get into a lot of different discussions. Shout out to Lee WizKid and Red Armchair Supporter, always OGs, the OGs in the house. Big up to both of you. And for anyone else joining us, whether you're new or whether you're an OG, excuse me, big up to everyone that's joining us right now, whether you're joining us live or on the replay. But I'll tell you this. Let's jump right into the segment. You know what bothered me the most after the Villa game was that it wasn't even the scoreline, I would say, that bothered me the most. It was the fact that Liverpool had lost in a way that was so discouraging, disparaging, like as in the sense of there's only two games left. You've gone up, you've gone down, you've flatlined at times throughout the season. Here's your opportunity. Finish the season strong. And this is a two parts. This is a two-part little set or episodes that I put together. I have an episode. Put it this way: the show that I put together was so large that I had to split it in half because I couldn't get all of it into one segment. So it would have been like 3-4 hours long. So I decided to make it into two. I decided to make it into two. So today, uh, I just had to basically recognize the fact that what we saw against Villa was not what we expect out of Villa or expect to get out of a matchup against Villa. Shout out to Scouts Adam, by the way. Big up Adam. Um, it really wasn't. Liverpool have lost matches before. Liverpool have had bad nights before. Even some of Klopp's greatest sides have been humbled occasionally. But what bothered me was how familiar this felt. That's the problem. Nothing about this collapse felt shocking anymore. The minute Villa regained momentum, you could feel that Liverpool emotionally unraveled in real time, and that is why I'm saying it's a problem. That was yes, exactly. This is exactly my point. Exactly my point. Um, you know what? Too, I'm going to address that too, Trudon. Big up to you, Trudon, for joining the show. I'm going to address that too. And let me see if I can get some of these points out. I did want to address it. I wanted to get through this first segment though, but I wanted to definitely address that subject. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. All right, give me a second. I'll bring up some of the points because I saw that Trudon. I saw not necessarily Jamie Carragher's comments, but you know what? On this side of the pond, I saw let me see. I saw Stephen Nicol give a full-throated declaration of how he felt and what he thought about Salah and how he was disappointed in Salah, and it was very very disappointing in my opinion. See, and have to say that it's unique, it's situational, but um, it is certainly something of a situation. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I'll bring up this, and because there's a different couple different things that we saw on here. Um, and oh, one second. There was another one too. Let me see. And I was going to bring them up certainly because I saw Jermaine Pennett's comments, who backed what Mohamed Salah had to say. Um, and I saw also, like I said, Steve Nichols' comments. Um, I saw the comments in the Athletic. I saw a comment by just someone we follow each other on X. I saw a fellow Reds comments on it that I thought were more spot on with what we had to say than anything. Shout out to Rasta Crab, by the way. Big up, Rasta Crab. Shout out to you. Definitely the streets. It's a lonely place when the streets aren't with you. It seems like but the streets are here. People, big up to Rasta Crab. Um, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I thought I had all of them on there. Um, and it's interesting because, like, I know that people have made the comments and have said what they had to say. Here's another one I think I'm just looking. I'm thinking I bookmarked the one particular one from that I'm looking for from actually Steve Nicol because that was the one that really got me a little bit in a tizzy, I guess you could say, a little bit upset to see because I saw what he had to say in real time, and I also saw what he had to say in in the other portion of it, at least. Um, let's see. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Because I want to make sure I got the Steve Nicol comment completely correct. Let me see. I can't find it. I'll just look it up while we speak. But why I was disappointed to see what I saw was because, truthfully, in my opinion, I think that by seeing what, and well, I had this for another segment, but I'll go back into it when we get into that segment too. What I had seen was Mohamed Salah speaking for a locker room because he has the privilege and the opportunity to do so. Now, I don't mean that in the sense of he is a player that doesn't hold a role in leadership, doesn't hold a role in being professional, as people say, doesn't hold a role in being a team player. I think what was disappointing to see and hear from people like Steve Nicol, from people like, what was the name of this guy? Um, Let me pull up the name of this one individual that spoke on it. Um, uh, Jason Burt, I guess his name is, or something, from the Telegraph, who said he's thrown Arne Slot under the bus and has shown a lack of class, is being what he's saying, Mr. Telegraph reporter Jason Burt. Um, what is the reason why I am happy is because there was a segment, or not segment, excuse me, there is something that Well, you've all met her, or most of you've met her. She's been on the show once before. She is a great supporter of the Reds, travels with them, traveling supporter, also goes to home games, obviously. Very much, very outspoken person when it comes to our community as well. Holds no qualms in telling you how she feels. And Cian, who's a good friend of the show, like I said, was talking about Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes assessing themselves in this and going out, assessing themselves and assessing maybe Arne Slot, right? And what was interesting too is there's more to it than just that. There was more. There was even more to it than just assessing the situation for Arne Slot, because Mohamed Salah was giving his assessment in real time. There's no bigger platform to be able to say what he had to say at that moment. Some are saying, "Oh, he should have waited till the end of the game, or should have waited." Like I said, there was never going to be the right chance or the right time to say what he had to say. There really isn't. I think personally. But what you now have is a situation where these players have come out and backed what Salah by liking his what he had to say. It shows that these players, believe in what he had to say. These players think the same way that Mohamed Salah spoke on Liverpool. And the same way most of us in this fan base have continuously said is the identity that we want to keep and not transition to this slot mentality of football. And that's why hearing what he had to say was meaningful. I gotta get this one quote because there was some really well done and well taken points by um, this person. Let me see if I can find not just CN's comments, but there was another one too. Let me see if I can find it. Um, and I do honestly believe that um, it's Mohamed Salah not only spoke for that locker room, Mohamed Salah spoke for us as fans. Mohamed Salah spoke as us as fans in the biggest chance and opportunity he could get. He put himself on the line saying, "This will be my last game coming up. And the last time I spoke out, you benched me." So, realistically, he is taking a huge chance in being, once again, benched. And it's wild that he had to take this opportunity to say the football that we are seeing is not the football that he believes is the identity of this club, and the reason why we have fallen off so drastically and so dramatically. And I couldn't agree more. I think exactly what Lee was saying right here. He feels he was speaking for the club and us this time rather than himself, and I agree. December, it sounded like he was speaking about himself. It felt like he was mindful of the fact he wasn't playing well, and he was being questioned by the coach, and he was being. It seemed like it was personal, but this time around, it wasn't about him because he doesn't have he's not going to be carrying on with this team actively on that pitch any longer. I look at it like um, I'll answer your question 1 second, Adam. Um, I'm looking at it like this. There are, for instance, sometimes people say, oh, you give a political answer. For instance, you've heard people say political answers, political answers. And political answers mean you don't really take a stance. You're PC with your answer. You try to toe the line and not go too far. You be respectful, blah, 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 blah. Now, one unique thing that you'll see is politicians tend to be real with what they feel and how they think and everything else when they're retiring, when this is their last year, when they're not going to run for office anymore. That's when you see someone be real. He is not running to be in the Liverpool lineup any longer. His time with Liverpool is done, and we all understand that. He's made that choice. But before he leaves, he's going to grab the mic, do the half-baked F you, you're cool, F you, I'm out, because it's deserving and right. And speaking for those people in the fan base, in the locker room, even some of the administration, the back end, or the administrative people that want to say something or don't believe this is the way that we want to go with our club, and don't have the power or voice or possibly even the stature that Mohamed Salah has. And it's why when I heard Stevie Nicol say the comments that he had to say, I said, Stevie, stop for 1 second. You're one of the biggest Liverpool fans out there as a former player. You're one of the biggest fans out there for us. He lives and dies for Liverpool. He's all about Liverpool. And he's been across, and when he left, he was leaving a team that wasn't nearly the stature of the team that he witnessed the heights of with. But at the very same time, I believe that he should understand what is going on with this team. And I think that's why there's a disconnect between us as fans and the majority of the pundits out there. They're doing this, I want to get into the good graces of Liverpool, so I'll say the company line, or I'll be kind and say, oh, this coach deserves another chance, or he needs this, he needs that. We have the privilege and the ability to speak our minds on channels and communities like this. I would hope that us being honest would still allow for us to get an invitation in through the door. But if it doesn't, I'm still going to continue to be honest and true with the feelings and the beliefs I believe. And I'm definitely going to allow for you to have the forum to speak your opinions as well. Let me see real quick. I'm still looking for that one thing, because this one person on I thought it was CN, but there was another comment by someone else on here, and I thought I bookmarked it, but I don't see my bookmark there. She hit the nail right on the head with what she had to say, and I was very, very I was proud to hear that someone could have an honest take the way she brought it out. Let's see if I can. I'm still looking to see if I can find her statement. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat too. Shout out to Emery, by the way, and let me see. I do need glasses apparently. And to Bull, hello to you. I haven't seen your name before, but good. Hello, welcome to the show. I know there was some. I didn't star them, so I'm gonna have to just reverse it, or go scroll up and see. The first question I did see was 12 from Adam. He says, 12, if you were Slot, what do you do? He says he would drop him, etc. It would be difficult. It would be very difficult. But I think that it would be him being a bigger man, meaning Slot, to still start Mohamed Salah. I think that he'd have to read the room and understand that there's bigger things. This is a coach that's never taken on the accountability of what he has seen this team perform and been unable to answer with solutions to our problems throughout the season. We've had temporary solutions that have all but failed after time. And I'm not giving this coach any excuses. There are some pundits, there's even some content creators out there that continuously want to either give him excuse or give him some type of leeway. And then there's other content creators I've heard that have gone so far as to try to drag Klopp under the bus for some reason, bring Klopp back into this conversation, when trying to acclimate whether Slot deserves an opportunity or Slot is doing a good job or not. And it's silly. I would start him. And it shows that his man management is abysmal. There's no way that possibly one of the biggest stars in the past, I'd say 20 years, possibly, for this 15 years, let's say 15 years, let's say the past decade. How about that? Mohamed Salah is now someone that you can't understand or make amends with or try to figure out how to live with. That's beyond me. It would be like me being a coach of Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or I don't know. I had to drop a name, Allen Iverson. I don't know, something like that. I know some of you are going to say those are basketball players, obviously. But it would be like if I were to if I was able to understand what it is, then I would make sure that I understood my place and my role and understanding. I want to be the coach. I want to be the boss. But sometimes pushing back and pushing too hard against the flow, the epic flow of it all, ends up making more of a problem than it's worth. And you divide this locker room. You divide it immensely. And you got to recognize the fact that Arne Slot, Mohamed Salah has put in years, blood, sweat, and tears with these players. These are his family. These are his brothers. You cannot expect them to side with you over him. And that's sad that we're even saying side with one side or the other when we should be one team, not one player versus one coach. It should be one team together. And that's what's sad about it. What else have you guys said? Let's see. Hyler says, pick up Hyler, by the way. Of course, as a true Liverpool fan, that Liverpool haven't won a match. And sorry about that. My phone was going off my pocket. Sorry. Of course, at the Liverpool fan, as a true Liverpool fan, that Liverpool haven't won a match in 2026 without Salah starting. Right? I did know that actually. I saw a very interesting stat that was thrown out there, and it was something like these are rough numbers; these aren't exact, but it was about the win rate with Mohamed Salah in the lineup was like 60%, 60 some odd percent. The loss rate was in the 30s. So we lose around 30 some odd percent of the win rate with him in the lineup is about 30 some odd percent without him being in the starting lineup. With him in the lineup, we win about 60%. That's significant. And if Slot had been sacked, Mo would have seen out his contract, says Crab. I agree with that. I think even more so if this was Klopp, and I'm not saying this is obviously I love Klopp and I would love to see Klopp be a part of this team, but that ship has already been docked and put to rest. Um, but I mean, if it was a coach like that, I think if Klopp had, for instance, finished out his year to 2 years that he had left in his contract, I think that we would have seen Trent Alexander-Arnold stay. I think we would have actually seen Mohamed Salah stay to the end of his career. We might have even seen an extension for Andy Robertson in this team. But and because it isn't, and because of this new push by, and I'm going to say this firmly and directly, look, this is not just all about Slot. This has to be laid at the feet of Edwards and also Hughes as well. They are very much in the mix in the situation that we are currently in. Arne Slot is their choice, their appointment. The players that they brought in, the players that they've let go are their decisions. They have to be held accountable to. Um, what other questions do you guys have? I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up. Big up, Lone Sheep, by the way. Big up. Larry Bird. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm not. I don't. Yeah, I would tell Larry Bird. I would tell Larry Bird to sit the bench. I am not a Boston Celtic fan, so there you have it. um, let's see. I'm still looking. Sorry, still trying to look in the background here. Anyone else say? I thought there was another question that was out there, but I guess not. Um, let's see. Da, 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 da. I think that's all. But to one last assessment of trying to find that one great. See if I can't find it. I just cannot find it. It was a well spoken comment though, and what I mean by well spoken comment is that it was just the sheer fact that she just mentioned the fact that Muhammad Salah I think spoke for most of us in the appointment. We've seen coaches come and go, we've seen players come and go, but I get it. Arne Slot won the title, and it should be something that he should feel not only strong about, but also um, proud of. And we are all proud of that accomplishment. But I'm not going to go as far as to say that some of these things don't measure up, which I think they don't. I saw this recently. This is wild. Let me bring this up here. This is wild. I mean, let me see if I can make that actually a larger image. Sorry. Um, this is wild. That is absolutely wild if that number is accurate. That is wild. This thing, I haven't signed this petition if that was the next question, but it is wild the sheer fact that this petition, this open assessment of a belief that this is not the direction we want to see our team go, and the answers being put out there um, is alarming. I would say that some 6 million or some umpteen million people have signed a petition saying we need a change. So that's alarming. That's very alarming. Um, what else you guys saying? So, I didn't know Lucho sang, by the way. That's interesting. Um, I guess they've just won the Bundesliga. They are celebrating. No, but I'm still looking. For some reason, I cannot find it. Um, all right. Well, maybe I'll look for it. Maybe I'll have it tomorrow for you. I thought I bookmarked it, and when I looked at my bookmarks, I didn't see it. But I will look again. I'll go through and see what it could be. Um, but I saw a lot of different things. I saw a list of like what has happened this historic season. First time Manchester United did a double over us in a decade. We've never lost 20 games in a season until Arne Slot. First time losing 6 out of 6 or 7 games since 1902 under Arne Slot. The PSV game, jeez, PSV have never beaten Liverpool in 112 years until Arne Slot. And not only did they beat us, they beat us. Manchester City haven't done the double over Liverpool in 89 years. Plymouth Argyle, for instance, remember that game? Plymouth Argyle haven't beaten Liverpool in 68 years. Liverpool haven't lost a home domestic cup game by more than 3 goals without scoring since 1934. You've conceded 5 league 90th minute winners in 1 Premier League season. That's a first. Manchester United haven't won at Anfield since 2016. Nottingham Forest haven't won at Anfield in 55 years. Fulham haven't won at home, by the way. Fulham haven't beat us even at their own home since 2011. Galatasaray haven't kept a clean sheet versus any English side since 2012. Chelsea, for instance, haven't won back-to-back versus Liverpool since 2014. Crystal Palace haven't beaten Liverpool at Selhurst Park since 2014. Newcastle United haven't beat us in 9 years, haven't won a cup game against us since 1995, and had not beaten us in a final until Arne Slot. Liverpool haven't lost a championship to a championship side since 2017. And our first home loss versus Newcastle since 2012 wasn't until Arne Slot arrived. And yet, this coach is about to get another season. I've seen a coach that won a Champions League, a Premier League title, League Cups, FA Cups, be questioned by not only the fan base, but apparently growing concern amongst those in the brass about a legendary coach in Jurgen Klopp that restored us to prominence. One season after this coach took a team that previous coach had built up, had basically fashioned in his own image. And now we're still saying, yeah, he deserves a chance. He deserves a shot. That's absolutely crazy, in my opinion. Absolutely wild. And yes, if I hear something about, if I'm going to hear something about, would I sit Mohamed Salah or not? You know what? I'm not sitting him. He's a club legend that felt that he had to speak out. And I think that the sheer fact that there are players that have shown their backing in the club or backing in his statement shows that he's not alone in thinking that. I think that's positive. Very, very positive. So, get back to this because there was a whole section I had, but I'm going to go back into what I wanted to speak on because I'd broken this down into chapters, and like I don't have a panel today, but the fact that this is no longer an isolated situation is obvious. Manchester United, Chelsea, Villa, repeated defensive collapses, repeated inability to control transitions, repeated emotional drop-offs after setbacks. At some point, patterns stop being accidents, or not only that, at some point, patterns stop being able to be connected to excuses. Now, I know excuses, there's things that happen. Circumstances happen, certainly. But if those same circumstances keep happening, those patterns start emerging, those same mistakes keep being acted on, and there's no formidable solution being presented, then there's an issue. There's got to be an issue. They become identity markers. And another thing nobody wants to say out loud is Liverpool don't look or even look fit in the way that Jurgen Klopp used to have this team. I don't know what it is. And it's a shame because I'm on record in saying one of the things I was happy about, one of the things I was looking forward to was I've been sold on the concept that this coach was going to be able to keep our team fit and available at the end of the season. When it's money time and we're at the end of the season, when we need our big name players to be available, we were supposed to have this coach have the ability to get them to that line. And I think, truthfully, that is the reasoning as to why we won the title last season. But we don't have that relentless suffocation of when we go up against teams. We don't have that second wave of pressing. We don't have the ability to outrun teams. The number of teams that have outrun us this season, I think it was out of the 36 games that we played. It could be, I'd have to look to see if it was 37, to tell you the truth now with the past game, if they outran us, and they probably did. It was the sheer fact that 32 out of 36 at the time had outrun Liverpool. The ability to outrun teams in the final 20 minutes is where you make the difference. And I asked, where did it all go? Because now Liverpool often look exhausted. Once these matches become transitional, it doesn't become, oh, I believe this team can pull out a rabbit from the hat. It becomes, okay, let's just get to the line and hopefully not get embarrassed. That never used to happen consistently. The old Liverpool made games physical, unbearable for opponents. Yet this current version often looks like it's trying to conserve energy rather than weaponize intensity. They look like they are managing the minutes as opposed to maximizing the minutes. Maybe that's part of the philosophical shift under Slot. He wants more control. He wants less chaos. He wants more structure. He wants less emotional volatility. And often last 2 seasons ago, I would say, okay, because now we're pretty much done this season. 2 seasons ago, I was told this is more enjoyable football. This is the kind of football I want, or you should adjust to, adapt to. The football of chaos, the football of intensity, the football of of being fierce and aggressive and progressive with your play is over. It's unstable. It's you can't sustain it. And plenty of pundits, if not content creators, kept on and kept on with it, telling you you were wrong to want to see that pressing. You were wrong to want to see it. And the sad thing about it is last season, our coach kept components, some slight components of that. It wasn't nearly the intensity that we had every game of the season with Klopp, but it was certainly a percentage of it. And Liverpool's greatness was emotional volatility. Klopp, I believe, understood that football at Anfield was not supposed to be sterile. It was supposed to feel overwhelming. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to make you. It was supposed to make you feel empowered and invigorated. When you remove too much chaos from Liverpool, you sometimes remove the very thing that made us terrifying to have to take on. And I think Liverpool become too obsessed with control and lost the emotional aggression. That is what Mohamed Salah said in that speech, in that quote. Because right now this team feels far easier to emotionally survive against than we used to be. And I agree with Mohamed Salah saying that it shouldn't be a case of, oh, well, that's an old way of playing, and we're going to go a new way of playing. No, that's the identity of Liverpool. Liverpool have always been fierce. They've always been on the front foot. They've always been progressive. And when they haven't, we failed. And that's what we're doing right now. The numbers support what I've said. I've just gave a whole list of all the things that became historic accomplishments, or you want to call it that, milestones, the wrong type of milestones to be setting. But our defensive record worsened, our open play intensity worsened, recurring set piece have worsened, fewer overwhelming attacking stretches have worsened. There's been more drop points after conceding first. These aren't points you can overlook. And that's why the dressing room is talking. That's why at this moment, there are players saying, yes, we could just keep toe to the company line. We could keep quiet and move on. Or we could speak up for the club that we love. We can buck the trend and decide to speak for this club that has become a shell of what it took 10 years to build. And I believe that Mohamed Salah's statement did not exist in isolation. I think that's the major key behind it. It did not exist in isolation. This is terrible preparation for the big game. I agree with you. This game shouldn't be a big game, though. That's my opinion. This game that we have coming up against Brentford should not be a big game, in the sense that it should count, that we have to worry about it counting towards the standings. The only type of big game this should be associated with is that we're going to say goodbye to beloved players. It should be a case that win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter for this particular game. Of course, you'd want to win to send off the players in the right way. But it shouldn't matter win, lose, or draw, because this is the final day that we'll be able to see some of our most beloved players play in a Liverpool kit until maybe another, down the line when they're playing a Legends game. And I think that's where we lost the script, and that's why I believe that it's why I believe that you hear the locker room talking at the moment. I saw let me see, it's way too far up in my thread here, but I saw a picture of Mohamed Salah out with Florian Wirtz, Dominic Sabasali, and I can't remember the fourth person that was out there in the picture, so I want to be accurate. But there's four, they're out for dinner. Not all teams are buddies outside the locker room. Not all teams care about each other like that. I think one of the best and unique situations of this team is they do. This team does. I was trying to look for it, can't find it, but too much. The X thread goes quick. Like you see something, if you don't bookmark it, you come back, you try to go back to it an hour or two later, it is gone. It is so far down the line that you got to go scrolling for a minute, especially all the Liverpool talk that happens. Hyler is saying, because I saw Red Armchair Supporter says, he says he agrees with Hyler, but don't want to work in the Premiership as he has discovered. Let's see. I think Arne Slot believed that he could be smarter than those who came before him with the right blend of technique or technical football with less intensity and less strain on the players. That is a very well put statement. I agree. I think that's why he tries to look like always to be the smartest guy in the room. I think, unfortunately, he is not humble enough to know that there are times when he should learn rather than just speak freely and bluntly. Take accountability and learn. But I spoke about the locker room, and I wanted to say about this. This had been simply some random, if this had been, for instance, Chiesa coming out and speaking the way he did, maybe some people would be like, oh, well, he's only been here a short time, or, oh, he doesn't understand it. He's just a disgruntled player, blah, blah, blah. Think back with me, if you will, in the chat, and those, you can comment on this if you're just watching on the replay. I brought this up point originally on Copish. I brought it on our show too. But I remember because I was engaged with, I had to even make it a super chat for them to answer it. But I wrote the fact of, because I thought it was an important enough comment or important enough point. Again, some of these content creators don't include what you have to say or don't look at what you have to say. I do my best to engage and try to make it a conversation between us as a community. And Drifty saw my comment and he did respond to it, but he said that, oh, well, I spoke about Tyler Morton and how Tyler Morton had come out and said that Arne Slot wasn't giving him a fair shot, basically. Tyler Morton, the player that's gone on to have a blossoming career in France, have the ability to play his style of football and to really make a mark. Now, some might say he's not Liverpool level. Okay, that's a conversation you can have, an argument you can make. But to say that when you didn't really get a proper assessment, I think is short-sighted. Here we are talking about wanting a DM, needing more depth at the DM, and we just allow for a DM to leave the team and go and play well in another league. Some might say, oh, it's because it's France. Let's get over those situations, okay, people. France, Germany, Spain, I don't care if it's Turkey. A player playing this game and having the opportunity to show his skills is a player that could have been conditioned to show those skills for us in this league with the right management in the right direction. And when I said that, Drifty was like, oh, that's just a player again that is disgruntled by this coach. Oh, he didn't play, and that's just him saying it because he's disgruntled. No, that's a player speaking his mind, but also keeping it 100. What does Tyler Morton have to gain by trying to say what he feels about Arne Slot? He might as well keep it 100. But what's happening now is that players have started interacting with the post that I said that Mohamed Salah made. Current players, former players, fans, ex-legends, people connected to this club emotionally. And that's why I said this has not been about one player who's just upset. It feels like confirmation that there's something deeper inside the football club is fractured. The comment I made about Cian's comment, let me bring this up too, because she mentioned something that's happening currently. Let me pull this up here. Bring this comment up for you guys. This was according to Team Talk. Okay. It said Liverpool are now holding serious internal discussions over sacking Arne Slot due to concerns behind the scenes at the club. FSG are increasingly alarmed not only by results, but also by the broader atmosphere surrounding the squad and project heading into the future. Headed into the summer, excuse me. Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are understood to be continuously assessing the situation and discussing possible future scenarios. Now, what that means is your guess. Is your guess is as good as mine? Because to me, that's a lot of political talk. A lot of political talk. Let me take this down here. But there should be more than just that. There should definitely be more than just that in the conversation. Let's go back to what I was saying now. Let's see what you guys are saying too. Who would you want to be the next LFC, excluding Enrique? Who would you like to see? Well, the coach I would have liked to have seen just signed with Chelsea. Just signed with Chelsea. Now, I'm not saying that he is the end-all, be-all in coaches, but I would have liked to have had a coach that has an honest and real connection, someone that's not, heard stories or something along those lines, but knows what it is to be a Liverpool supporter, fan, family, player, board member, whatever. Knows how to knows what it is to have and feel to be connected to that ecosystem of a club. But I don't know. I don't think. Tune in tomorrow if you want to know I would say, because I do have a segment that has 4 different coaches out there that could be considered could considerably be a coach replacement if we do go down the route of sacking this coach. But what I was going to say, though, is like I said, football dressing rooms are political environments, I believe. Players know exactly what they are doing publicly. I know that Mohamed Salah knows what he's doing publicly. He's a player that rarely goes to the mixed zone. He's a player that rarely says statements out there. He's had the "if I speak, there will be fire" comments and the likes. And when it comes to having someone speak at a club the size of Liverpool, you know what's happening. But Curtis Jones engaging with the message matters because Curtis Jones is a Scouser. Curtis Jones understands what it is to be a Liverpool fan, what it is to be a Liverpool, supporter and player since his youth. And the reaction from former players matters because now the conversation has shifted from are Liverpool struggling to do the players themselves believe in the direction anymore? And that's something because I think what it was an opportunity for Mohamed Salah to speak for his brothers in that locker room to say what they all think, what we think as well. And the thing about it is, Mohamed Salah can't have anything happen to him that is going to impact his career. We all saw what happened when Curtis Jones had a little bit of a fallout with Arne Slot. All of a sudden, he went from being a real candidate to start to is even on the bench. And that is a terrifying place for any manager to see his team start to navigate towards, especially one under pressure like this coach. And I'm going to be honest, some of the body language this season has to be beyond alarming for us. Players throwing their arms up, defenders blaming each other, midfielders disconnected from the press, forwards being isolated. And I mean isolated on an island. Like they're not even there with Wilson. Wilson's not even on this island with them. That's a little bit of a reference to Tom Hanks. But we used to move as a collective organism. We taught players how to understand how important the press and defense was, despite the fact that, yes, offense is important, but defense can initiate offense. I think what Salah's statements may have done is publicly expose this fractured line. Because it's something that we need to recognize right now. Emotional discontent in this club is not only from us. It's not just the boos you hear at Anfield. For one of the first times in a long time, the boos you hear at Anfield, they are not directed solely at the players. They are directed at the boss. I really think that Salah saying all this on the way out matters because the partying legends usually stop protecting the politics. They stop speaking in PR language. They say what they actually feel, and Salah has earned the right to speak honestly. And the sheer fact that people are saying, "Well, that's unprofessional," and that's just not he's got no class in doing so. Take a look in the mirror. Because you most likely have been saying the same things you hear this man, this bold and courageous courageous man. I mean, he's not young in terms of football, but this courageous man has done. You said the same things amongst your lads at the pub or your friends at work or people on your forums. Said the same things. And the sheer fact that it's not a fringe squad player complaining means something. This is arguably one of the greatest greatest attacking players in Liverpool's modern day history. Now, I'm talking about players who lived every stage of Klopp's transformation, from doubters to believers to champions. He said it in the lines. And he says he wants to continue seeing this team resemble that. Imagine building a house, building a castle, and the day that you're going to walk on that castle is getting torn down in real time. So when he says that identity must be recovered, trust me, Mohamed Salah, I stand with you. I've stood with you in saying that not only this year, but even last year. And I think that's why so many supporters emotionally connect with the statement. Not because they hate Slot. Let me say that right now. Not because they hate. I know there are people out there that despise this coach, that don't like him one bit, that actually get triggered when he speaks. And I'm not saying this because I have some blind worship loyalty to Klopp, but because deep down, we recognize the feeling Salah is describing as being shared. Liverpool feel emotionally different right now, less dangerous, less connected, less Liverpool. And once supporters begin feeling emotionally detached, emotionally disconnected from the football itself, not entertained, not inspired, intrigued, the tension spreads like rapid fire. The atmosphere changes, the patience changes, the standards change. And if you are sitting there trying to tell yourself, grin and bear it, if you're sitting there saying, well, this is just the way it's going to be, then you are assisting that problem to become worse than it is. So, let's see, get you guys back to the conversation here because I see a question from Hyler. After this, Hyler says, do you think Arne Slot is willing to start Salah against Brentford? I think Emery asked that same question, but I'll address it again. I think that you have to. I think you have to. I think what is unique about this situation is Robbo could have done similar circumstances. He's a vice captain. He's someone that is an authority figure on this team, but he chose not to, which is understandable because Mohamed Salah did it for him. Robbo, Virgil van Dijk, Dom, think of players that have become authority figures on this team. Curtis Jones. They're going to have to answer those questions when they have the mic in front of their face. And they're going to have to address what they have to know. They'll have to say. Robbo less so, maybe even Curtis Jones less so if he's going to be moving on. But I hope and I think they're going to sit there and they're going to give praises to Mohamed Salah. Because again, let me just stress this: they've got history. They've got history. Okay, I wanted to talk about football, the football at least, because I'll strip away the emotion for a second actually and try to talk about the football itself. The one thing I keep hearing is this is just nostalgia. This is just Klopp emotional bias, or this is people just don't like change. And I disagree with that completely. I think there are legitimate tactical concerns we have to have here. And no matter if you go with those of us that trust stats or engage in stats, or if you go to the extent of those that vie into the eye test, the eye test has matched the numbers for a long time now. Liverpool's press no longer consistently functions as one synchronized unit. And that's amazingly important because that's the heartbeat of this team. One of the key things that Jurgen Klopp said was the press initiates our offense. If you don't press, don't expect to play. Is that what the score is for the game? Let me put that game up too. When that game is going on. One second. Let me put the score up here so I can update you guys too as well as it happens. 0-0, 29 minutes in. Let's see. Distance. What was I going to say though? I think what the football portion of what we all have to recognize is that the distance that you saw when it came to spacing, for instance, on the pitch, the distance between players was compact. The distance between players was compact. Triggers were immediate. The second wave arrived instantly. The front line. I think the unique thing, and we all saw it when it happened, the front line would hunt in packs. There are wolves out there, dire wolves, hunting in packs. Someone's probably going to say dire wolves don't hunt in packs, but all the same, there were wolves that hunted in packs. And under the former administration, pressing wasn't random aggression, it was coordinated suffocation. It just stomped out wherever you decided you wanted to try to start your attack, it was being suffocated from that starting point. But there are massive gaps in this team. One player presses. You see Dominic running with his like a chicken with his head cut off. So at times, you see maybe another player hesitate, not knowing whether to press with that player or not press with that player. The midfield line arrives late. Maybe they're out of position. The back line drops too deep. Suddenly, opponents can play through Liverpool far easier than ever before. That's not me imagining this. That is the reality because it's visible to all of us. And defensively, Liverpool have become disturbingly vulnerable from set pieces and transitions. Let's keep it 100. We have two, in Ibu and VVD, we have two of the best aerial duelists in the league. And there are times when it is incredibly easy to see a set piece is being set up against us, and we are not prepared. This current team often looks reactive instead of aggressive. And offensively, there are emotional frustrations because we do not play to our strength. And that being, we have transitioned to a center forward dominant team. We got our goals primarily from our wingers when it was Mane and Salah. We transitioned to Lucho and Salah, and we still were a relatively predominantly, winger-oriented goal-producing team. We spoke about how, or people have spoken about how, let's get Darwin Nunez, Jota, they're done. Rest in peace, Jota, by the way. And we need new forwards. We need better forwards. So we end up getting high-priced, quote-unquote, better forwards. And I think that, if anything, the production levels from these forwards has gone down because they don't make their own opportunities. They don't create the way that Jota could create. Jota was not only a fox in the box, but he was an exceptional passer. Say what you want about Darwin Nunez, but he created such a difference in his pace and ability to stretch lines that it opened up spacing for him to create opportunities or his own opportunities be created for his wingers. Liverpool still circulate the ball. We understand it. We have possession. Fantastic. But you know what that possession is? Side to side, backwards passes. We still have technically gifted, if not more gifted, players on this team. And I think that's why the devastation and that we used to know isn't present, because they're not looking to destroy. They're looking to maintain. There's less unpredictability. There's less chaos. There's less emotional. There's less emotional diligence towards a combined goal. Because even when attacks broke down, another wave arrived immediately, and that doesn't exist right now. An attack breaks down, all of a sudden we find ourselves trying to run back. And supporters feel the difference, I think, and I think you guys do too. They do, Red Armchair supporters. They barely get touches on lone chances. Absolutely spot on. Emery says, pretty crazy. We managed to dismantle the ethos that made this Klopp so successful under Klopp, or this team so successful under Klopp. Agree with that completely. These are meaningful situations, man. The stats back this up when I say this, because Liverpool are conceding more, creating fewer overall, creating fewer opportunities going forward, and struggling more in transitions and looking increasingly vulnerable once matches become chaotic. What's going on in this game here? I just saw that there's a VAR check on something. If anyone could, I don't have the game on in the background. I'm not doing any any hate along or any of that crap. What happens right now. But it looks like there's a VAR. There was a VAR look. I guess it didn't amount to anything. All right. Yeah, it looks like they've gone back to playing. All right, let me get into what we also see. Pick up Dara. Been a little bit, but hope that you're well. Dara and I have some decent weather lately, considering we are fully into the summer. Hope that you are doing well, my friend. Oh, we definitely. How about I need a couple of Aston Martins in my parking lot, in my driveway? How about that? I need some Aston Martins in my driveway. But I understand your point, though. We could use a couple of. We could use some high profile players on this team for sure. I am going to speak about also, I guess, this last portion, which is I guess I saved a little bit of the best for last, in the sense the most damning part of all of this is that I think the most scary part about this is the losses. I would say, I say you want to look past and beyond it, but let's keep it 100. Do you realize we've lost 20 games? 20 games. Oh, Arsenal won nothing. Kai Havertz. That's right. Kai Havertz gets the goal. The player that, if you ask Arsenal fans, is the player the last player they want to see is Kai Havertz. Big up, Jimmy, by the way. Big up. It is what it is. It's not a big deal. They win, they win. Let's see what the current standings are. Um, yeah, this is their 37th game. But I think they're playing at home though. You would expect them to be able to beat Burnley at home. You would hope that they would be able to. That'd be a complete. If they were to lose or drop points at the Emirates against Burnley, then they they should be looking at. They would have to think of themselves as being as being Liverpool-esque. All the same. All just kidding. But I was just thinking about the norm. It's become how scary to me, and the reason why again some of these comments matters because normal should not be the feeling that Liverpool have not only the opportunity to lose, but there are lots of high likelihood that they will lose. That's the scariest sentence I can possibly say about this football club because we all know this team was different. We were built different. Even when we were exhausted, even during the injury crises, even during transitional periods, even during rebuilds, you still believe Liverpool emotionally would drag themselves back into matches. Now, that mentality monster is not a mentality monster at all. Second momentum swings against them instead of against for us. It's like we almost expect the collapse, and that's scary. Think about it. There's times when you see a team set up for a set piece, and we're like, "Oh, here it comes." It's about it's it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio when he's like, "Oh, well, here's my part. Here's my part." I'm not going to play the clip because I get in trouble for it, but from the Tarantino film, at least. If you think about how psychologically devastating that is, you can understand why Anfield feeling like an inevitability has become Anfield feeling like a possibility for our opponents. Opponents used to enter matches trying to survive against Liverpool at Anfield. Now they go into Anfield thinking they can get a result. The fact that this coach doesn't have the gravitas or the concentration to recognize that he should not only be angry about this, but he needs to figure out solutions for that. Should be the reason why we are even having this conversation of whether this coach should keep his job. That is an emotional and enormous cultural shift. And if you even go to our record on the road, it is, without a doubt, abysmal. The moment Villa regained momentum in that game, you could feel the emotional collapse coming before the goals even arrived. There were goals that shouldn't even been goals, to be honest with you. I'm not putting this all on Marmadashvili, but he needs to be better. Trust me on that. It did make I heard plenty of people calling out, hitting me up, WhatsApp or through X, saying, "I miss Kelleher." You have your opportunity to see him in person. But that's not title winning psychologically. That's not psychological winning football. That's vulnerability. And vulnerability spreads quickly in football. One team believes that they can hurt you, and they act and they attack, and they do so. They absolutely do so. I uh, I couldn't agree with you more, Dara. I said that in the beginning of this broadcast. Um, I was looking for uh, I was looking for the actual exact comments um, from Steve Nicol. If I don't see it, I'll do a quick search for it. Um, Let me see. I'll do a quick look for it. Still looking, still looking. Here, let me do a search for it. Just an actual search. To an actual search. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can't an actual idea for it. Let me see. Let's see, because it was pretty wild to see. Okay. This was his comments. He said, let me take down Dara's comment. He said, to do this now, right at the end of Salah's time at Liverpool, I think is completely and utter madness. He has shown in that statement he doesn't have the class of his former veterans at Liverpool who showed absolute class. That was his statement. I'm trying to think if I can see a complete layout of what he had to say. So everyone's just about it. It's just that one particular line is the one that a lot of people have retweeted and continue to retweet. Let's see. Yeah, this is what. Let me put this up here. Open image. Boom, boom. Share this with you. This is what he had to say, basically, about our Egyptian king, one of our legends. He said, a lack of class from Mohamed Salah. That's basically what he had to say. A lack of class. I think it was a push towards bravery, a real selected choice of sacrifice. I honestly do. Because there's nothing more that you could say that's not closer to what I think most of us, I believe in the state of what we think of. So, yeah, I don't know. You can tell me, what do you guys think about that comment? I know Dara's given his opinion. I know that Jimmy's agrees with Dara. Hyler says, how many of the new players do you see reflect leadership? How many of them do you believe will pull us from tough moments or on pure will in the future? I think Thomas Salah has class and has that never say die kind of mentality amongst him. I think if who else? I wish I could have the whole comment from Stevie, because he went in on what he had to say, and I think Stevie Nicol got it completely wrong. I think sometimes Stevie thinks he picks and chooses when he wants to be a pundit, a fan, or a former player. I think he just becomes too disillusioned I don't know. Maybe this needs his thing. Um, this was Jamie Carragher's statement as well. I'll share with you that too. He says, I wasn't surprised. I told everyone at Sky behind the scenes, my friends who were Liverpool fans, I said Salah something else will come before the end of the season. He will drop another bomb a little bit like the Ronaldo did on the way out of Manchester United. I thought it may come after the end of the season when he sort of moved on, but no. On this show less than 2 years ago, I called him selfish for doing an interview, and that rings true again. Liverpool have a really important week this week. Still not qualified for the Champions League, and it should be about Liverpool FC, not Salah FC. But unfortunately, it's going to be about Mohamed Salah. Jamie, I will mention this because I had this set up for tomorrow's episode, but I will list this. Let me just bring this up. See if I can find it now. I just saw it. There were about, I think, 17, at least about almost like 20 players that all gave a thumbs up, a like to the comments that he had to say. Let me see who. I'll look it up. For you. Whoops. There's about 20 players that said that they agree. In essence, by giving the like, basically agreed or supported what he had to say. Let me see. LFC players. You know what's funny about it? Even Trent Alexander-Arnold gave him a like. I'll tell you who has said it. This says a lot too, by the way. This says a lot. Let's see. Hold on. I'll put this in the chat for you. As many of the names I can, at least. Some of these names are doubles. But, whoops. All right. So, players that have liked his statement. Let me just share it with you that. Let me share it with you on that. Again, some of these might be duplicates, so I'll try to make the list less lengthy. I think some of these are duplicates, but I will start sharing with you the names, some of the names at least. All right, here you go. Here are some of the names that have said that they like his comment. Let me see. Some of the names again that have liked the comment. Some notable names in there: Dom, Flo, Ibu, Robbo, Hugo, Trent, Jeremy Frimpong, Bobby, Cody Gakpo, by the way. Let me make sure you understand that. Cody Gakpo liked the chat. For those that have him being the illegitimate son of Arne Slot, Cody Gakpo liked it. I don't think I can move my picture. Ox, who doesn't even play for us anymore, liked the comment. Curtis Jones liked it. Jordan Henderson, again, a player doesn't even, again, for all those that said Jordan Henderson needs to be back, he would have been different as a Liverpool captain. He would have been different. Da, 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 da. He liked the comment. Okay. Wataru Endo, Adrian, Lucho, Wijnaldum, Ryan Gravenberg. All like the comment. All like the comment. I think there's more as well. I had Hugo in that last one, did I? Maybe not. Let me see. I have Frimpong in there. Okay. Some less notable, but certainly still Reds was. Other players that like this comment. Ekatike, Gurkes, Endo. Let me say that again. Endo. Leone. Leone's played one game for us. Harvey Elliott. Shout out to Ringlets. Stefan Bishetic. Calvin Ramsey. Big up to Calvin. Should have played this season. Should have had a shot. Did not have one. And even Reese Williams, player on the way out, liked it. Big up Lucas. And you're right about that, Lucas. I mean, the sheer fact that Carragher was calling for Arne Slot to be sacked 1 minute, and now is towing the company line of saying, "Oh, we need to give him more time, or this, more that." Training is going to be definitely awkward. You're right about that, Emery. I'd have to look into that more closely with the Pep Guardiola. I think most of us knew that he was probably going to be leaving. There were reports that there were some reports that that Alonso was waiting on not only Liverpool, but possibly looking to react or possibly react to the news that Pep Guardiola is leaving and see if he can get the Manchester City job, which is a very coveted job. Let's be honest. It's a well backed. I'm not going to say well managed, but well backed club from the people that own their club. Yeah, you could be surprised about that too. There could be a situation where you might be surprised that Chiesa didn't say yes or no. I'd be surprised if Chiesa doesn't or wasn't amongst those names. I don't know if Chiesa has a Twitter or an X account. Maybe that's the reason why he didn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if he joins that list. It's 1-0 at halftime against Burnley. It's 1-0, and I believe. Let's see. Yeah, they've gotten one big chance. Obviously, they scored on it, and Burnley's have had all of 3 shots so far in this game. So yeah, not expecting much of a result from that. Yeah, it's a weird one if you ask me about some of the things that are going on with this club. I think it says a lot, though, with the names I just spoke on. Again, those players are not all current players in that locker room. Some of those players have long moved on, but remember what Liverpool means and still have Liverpool very much a very vital piece of their DNA. It is something alone to see the names that have joined the speaking out, I would say. There was something else I was going to share with you guys, but I don't see it on here. Do you think? Tell me in the chat. Do you think it was selfish of Mohamed Salah to do what he did? Do you think it was selfish? If you do, you can say yes. You can say no. I have tomorrow. It'll be my answer for that question about the coaches. I do have a segment, but again, I put so much together in this one show that I had to make it into a two-part show. So this is part one, and then I have part two coming tomorrow. And I do have a list of coaches that obviously beyond the Arnie's the Xavi Alonso pursuit that's no longer a pursuit. But I do have that. That'll be tomorrow. Big up, big up, big up. Book him, ref. How are you? Good to see you in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I mean, there are reports that Curtis Jones might be on his way out again. That there has been some reports that Curtis Jones is even more closer to moving on. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. This is new. It says this is from Fabrizio. Inter Milan want Curtis Jones and are prepared to attack again for the player. The valuation is going to dictate the timing and negotiations of this deal. They are in contact with the player. The sheer fact that Inter Milan want Curtis Jones, not some middle of the road style team or something, one of the best teams in Italy, you can wherever you rate Italy or not, says a lot. Italy is not Inter is not a nonsense team. They are a team that's going to continuously try to fight for titles in Italy and also even push their two now about to be two finals away from making it to the finals, albeit they got embarrassed by PSG, but they still made it to a final, and that's an immense accomplishment. Very, very important accomplishment for them at least. He says, Curtis Jones said, I just enjoy playing if I'm at right back, if I'm at center back, or if I'm at striker. I just want to go and play. I am fortunate enough to have a quality that I'm comfortable on the ball and I'm confident in my own abilities. I'm not shy where I have to go and play. I want to be in center midfield, and I know that I'm good enough and I should be playing there. But it's all about the team, and that's what you have to put first. Although I'm a fullback now at the minute, I'm playing inside as well, so I'm still getting a chance to get the ball and get in the box and chance to go and score and assist and things like that. I wouldn't say that I'm a defender. I'm a fullback / center midfielder, you could say. I just enjoy playing. I'm a lad that anytime I get a chance to have a ball at my feet, my eyes just light up. I just end up with a smile on my face. That's what I want to go and do, especially in a team like this, in a club like this. As I've said already, if I have to go and play off the wing or as a striker or as a center half, whatever it is, I'm fine. And that is a player who bleeds Liverpool red that we are contemplating letting go. Real discussions to be had here, people. Real discussions. Some very, very big discussions to be had. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I think that some of what we've seen is very, very telling as to what we see. I don't know if Virgil van Dijk's going to come out. I think and say something. I'm sure he's going to be He's going to be. Look, Virgil van Dijk, in his possible Dutch way, will be very direct and very blunt with some of the things he might have to say. And Virgil van Dijk, being the captain, especially on a day where it's going to be the last day he gets to play with some of these players, is going to be asked about their comments. I am almost positive that's going to happen. So I think before we bounce, I'm gonna get I'm going to get, hold on a second. I'm going to bring it's not really a surprise, but it's definitely a appreciated addition to the show. Let me bring in, let me see, or I'm gonna let him, I'm gonna give out send him the thing, the link. All right. Dara is saying, I have a question, 12. How do you think Rio, who adores Mo, thinks about this? I think that, personally, this is just my opinion. I'm not an ITK, obviously. It could be, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but what I do think possibly happened is I think that I think he possibly went and told him what was going on. I think he probably went to Rio and told him what was happening. So I think that I think there's a little bit of intrigue. Let me bring in JK. Maybe he can better answer the conversation here. Big up, JK. How you doing?
Big up, bro. What are you saying?
Just getting into it with the peeps, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's we got second half just starting, that Burnley Liverpool game, Arsenal game. 1-0 Arsenal at the Emirates. So I mean, like, that's not really, it is what it is. But we're talking more about the comment that Mohamed Salah came out with, days before this big match. I'm going to say this. I think that we are going to be gifted a Champions League. We're going to like back our way into a Champions League spot. I don't think we're going to necessarily, we haven't done anything to predominantly say we deserve a Champions League spot, but I will say that we'll be gifted it because of other teams not being able to take the opportunities. Look, no one expected Chelsea to have a massive fall off like they did, but the sheer fact that they did, and that we can muster up at home against Chelsea was a draw, and have them beat us at the Bridge, says volumes. Okay. The sheer fact that that Brentford, Bournemouth, those types of teams were even remotely close to being able to contend for this position of getting into Champions League is problematic. But at the same time, the team that I wanted to see us move above in the standings was Manchester United. I was setting that as a personal bar for us to be able to say, look, we've at least gotten third. Yeah, bare minimum being we got third place. Not bare minimum we got Champions League, bare minimum that we got third place. And the sheer fact that we're in the position that we are says volumes. I think that's why I'm kind of upset over what we've seen from this team. But I'm sure you've seen the comments that Salah's made. I'm sure that you might have heard about some of the comments that Jamie Carragher, or what we were talking on earlier, Steve Nicol, has said about it being low class and being like classless for Salah to say what he said. How are you feeling about it? Go ahead and tell the people.
First of all, big up everyone in the chat. And bless up Dara as well. No problem, bro. Look, bro, we live in a world of media where everyone just talks bullshit. Sorry for my French. I like real news. It's like when you look at the transfer speculation of the football world, majority of the time, bro, even when the guy that they're saying is going to go here, blah, 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 is playing for another team, bro. Elise, for example, Bellingham, everything. It's like Elise smashing it for Bayern, What the hell would he come to Liverpool for? So these sort of things, bro. So that's what's going on now. For me, whatever Salah said, he came from the heart. You know, he isn't a bit part player over 8 years, 9 years, man. This guy has smashed it for us. He's in the top 11. When we're doing a Liverpool 11 of all time, the brother's on the right-hand side. No problem about that. But this
He's on
guy's
the
big
right-hand
time,
side for the Premier League. I would say he's on the right-hand
Premier
side.
League as well. So there you go, man. He was the best player in the world for a little while. I had a feel like he was just the best player in the world. Little while, he was that guy. Fair play to him, man. And when you consider how big-time footballers can behave sometimes, he's been an angel, bro. Yeah, he sometimes has had a few things at the wrong time, but what he said now recently, for me, is from the heart, and I like what he said. What did it was an indirect big up for Jurgen Klopp art style of play. It was an indirect quote, you know what I mean? I loved it, and it was like Arne Slot. I don't know what day, I don't know what planet Arne Slot lives on. Sometimes is he a bit? He acts very like he ain't aware of his surroundings. Sometimes I'm like, you letting players in your team come out with comments like this? That's not a good look, bro. At the end of the day, Arne Slot, what has he done? He's actually destroyed everything Jurgen brought to the club. Got rid of about 13, 14 players of his. Bang. And now all of a sudden, Slot's going to be a bit distraught about Salah's comments. Nah, man. What Salah said, he said Salah's leaving at the end of the season. It's a bit embarrassing, bro, when you look at it as well, because for me, we've turned into a bit of a soap opera club in the last 2 seasons. First, last season, Salah leaving Virgil and Trent. This season, Kanate again. Then you had the Jones thing, Chiesa, Salah now again. A lot of things have been happening. This manager isn't the right guy for the club, bro. A major trick of being a top football manager is, no matter how good that player is, as soon as he rocks the boat, he's out of there. Cancelo from Man City being my prime example. Top, probably the best fullback in the world. Pep Guardiola thought, fuck that, he's gone. So he must have upset the basket there. He must have done something to upset Pep that he said, yo, pack your bags, you're out of here. So that's for me a top manager, bro. No matter how good a player is, he's willing to sell him.
Yep.
So
it reminds me of, you know what it reminds me of more of, at least this is my personal chime in, but it reminds me of Ronaldo and Eric Ten Hag. Now, Eric Ten Hag, you could say what you want about the manager, but the reason why he got to stay on as manager is because he won a League Cup. He won an FA Cup. He won stuff in a team that wasn't expected to win anything. And then you had Ronaldo, who became a kind of thorn in his back, but was enormously, one of the most popular, Red Devils of all time, you could say, practically, one of. It's one of those things where it's like, lines were drawn, and all of a sudden, that I think the difference is,
bro, because
there's a slight difference. I'll let you chime in. I was just going to say real quick to make sure that I get context. The difference is I do not equate the way that Ronaldo goes on Piers Morgan and does all these like crazy things, is openly speaking on this stuff. He goes an extra level. Mohamed Salah is much more reserved, and the sheer fact that he came out like the way he did says something. I think it speaks louder than when Ronaldo does it, when you expect him to do it, because Ronaldo will show his disdain on the pitch. Off the pitch, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Look, bro, look at the way United treated Ronaldo the second time he went back, the second time. And he was their top scorer of the season before. And it just amazes me how, if Ronaldo didn't go back to United, they would have been still singing his name at the stadium right now. You know what I mean? It was like, Ronaldo, he was ours, he's one of us, and this and that bollocks. He came back, got top scorer, then they were sort of wanted him to get him out of there. Majority of them, like, come on, man, where's the
Yeah.
respect?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like he got 1 goal all season. He got 17, I think, or 18, something like that, and he's did okay, considering they were a poor team. He came back to do them a favour. You know what I mean? End of story. Yeah, he would have got paid well, don't get me wrong, but he could have gone into any club in the world, and he chose United. You know what I'm saying? And they sort of treated him with disrespect, and that's the modern day fan now, bro. The respect from our fans towards Salah, even to Van Dijk, to a number of players. Like, I can't believe what I hear sometimes. Like, at the end of the day, Virgil van Dijk's had a poor game. Come on, man. 1 out of 100, not bad. Come on, you do it. You'd have a poor game every game. So the respect level of football, that's what people don't realise. It's 2026. And the respect levels towards humans between each other as well has gone so bad that even mans like Salah and Virgil, who gave you 9 years of their lives, paid for your club, got paid well, don't get me wrong, but gave everything for that badge to win you 2 Premier League titles, a Champions League, and could have gone to any club in the world, Virgil. Could have gone to Man City, Paris, Bayern, anywhere he could have gone. He chose Liverpool. All right? And he's getting stress from fans. He probably can't even do 5 kick-ups, bro. And that's what I'm saying about us Liverpool fans. We've got a duty. We've got to keep our feet on the ground. Let's not behave like United and Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans. Fuck that. Let's keep it classy.
I understand what you're saying, certainly. I was going to also say, let me bring in the comments from Dara, because Dara brought up a very good comment here. It's actually like this real quick. So you can see the comment. He said, what Liverpool player has come out in support of Slot since Mo's comments? That's the question people should be asking Mr. Nicol, who, again, he said, I don't know if you heard the comment about by Steve Nicol, but he absolutely tore into the actions, calling him classless, I think, pretty much. Like, let me see if I have the quote still available. Yeah, right here. He said this. Share this with us. He said, actually, it's too small there. He said it's a lack of class from Mohamed Salah, basically. A lack of class is what he said.
Well, for me, all it is an indirect dig at Slot and saying to him, I prefer the old manager here instead of you. That's all that is, really. That's how I see it. His quote, the heavy metal football quote, for me, bang, knocked the nail on the head with that comment. Bless up Red Armchair, man. Hope you're cool, bro.
I personally think it was a sense of continuously telling people, or being, it's what we were saying, not only this season, but last season. I know that you and myself both were very, very critical of the style of play that we were seeing our team. We speak about the 2-goal governor, as I called it, on our team, that every time we got the 2 goals, it seems like we just, threw it into cruise control and just like,
neutral,
threw it into neutral and said, hey, let's just coast,
Yeah. But that's his, he gambles. That's what I said about Arne Slot, right? This is what Arne Slot does to football. He plays a cautious game, and with that cautiousness, he actually ends up gambling the game. Instead of, playing a bit cautious, but at the same time getting the job done. And that's his downfall, bro. Because what happens is we'll go to a game, we'll be away, winning 1-0, and what will happen? Fulham. We'll get an equaliser, 2-1, 2-2 then, because of the way he gambles the game to that 90th minute or the last 10 minutes of games, where this season, when you looked at every game, bro, the opposition had the ball at the end of every game. Every game. He thinks he's got the Italian defence, the Italian defences from the 80s and 90s that was so solid that even if you had an army, you couldn't get past them. You know what I mean? He thinks he's got that in now this season. He hasn't got that. So you can't play that sort of defensive game. Look at the numbers, bro. We've leaked nearly 80 goals. Wow. From a Champions team, that's pretty bad. A lot of stats I've heard about today, man. It's out of control. It's out of control.
Yeah.
Franco Baresi, yeah. Maldini, Franco Baresi. Van Dijk, don't get me wrong. Best defender ever in the Premier League and stuff. But at the same time, it's been a bit of a mess, It's been a bit of a mess, man.
Yeah.
He didn't do his homework, Lone Sheep. He doesn't understand the league because, for me, as soon as he knew he was going to get the Liverpool job, he should have been ringing up Steven Gerrard, Kenny Dalglish even, and says, "Tell me what it's all about. What do I need to know?" Even give Jurgen a call. Jurgen ain't going to say to Arnie, "Nah, I'm not telling you none of my secrets. It's up to you now. It's in your hands. You get on with it, lad." Nah, he would have said, "You know what? Most important thing is the fans. They're different to everyone else in England. They're a different type of human. And all these things should have been said. He didn't do his homework. And you can see that now in the way he's behaved over this season. Because we're not winning. That's when the real side of humans comes out. When you don't win, the real side of people comes out. You know what I mean? And look what Arne Slot's done throughout this season. Took players into the train. Kept players out of the team. The list goes on, bro. The list goes on. Harvey Elliott's been sitting on the bench all season, not doing nothing.
There is a quote by Fabrizio Romano that said Liverpool will conduct an end-of-the-season review involving the players, management, and Arne Slot. At the moment, the club have not approached any other managers and have constantly maintained their intention to continue with Slot, but the review will be a crucial moment in deciding the future. I think that, unfortunately, that is unfortunately, Edwards and Hughes being able to be the administrators of having set up this poorly thought out process of a manager and then allowing for them to sit on their heels and wait till the last minute. We've already had one of the managers that certainly would have been high on our list come off the board in Alonso. There's others. How long are we going to wait before others are ruled out? That's a big question. But with that said, if you want to hear my choices for a manager, that'll be tomorrow. There was something else that I thought was very notable, and this was a quote from Curtis Jones. He said, this was the interview that he conducted a while back, and it was where Curtis Jones basically says, "I want to be the captain of Liverpool and stay here all my life. I'd like to be remembered like Steven Gerrard. He's the only Scouser in our team, and he knows it. He knows what it means to the city, to his own personal pride and the likes of it. And the sheer fact that there were rumors that started up in the middle of the season, the sheer fact that there's even growing rumors now that Curtis Jones could be not only an asset that is sold off by Edwards and Hughes as being an intangible and commodity that they're going to make the most of. Because being a youth academy player, he is all profit on the books. The sheer fact that they are even contemplating that for a player that shows this kind of belief, you can say with the connections to the city alone, but I mean the belief and knowledge of what it means to be a Liverpool player, and we're looking at possibly having another player being jettisoned from the team. That is what I'm saying is why it's not just Arne Slot people. Hold Edwards and Hughes accountable, because right now we're sitting on our hands while we wait for them to decide if this coach is going to be good enough to bring us into the new era. Some of us thought, hey, it should have been already Alonso in. Some of us thought, hey, it should have been Steven Gerrard in. Or maybe some of us thought we should return to Klopp and had Steven Gerrard as the assistant coach, and we should just let it run that way. So that Klopp could naturally transition the team to Steven Gerrard, who would take what he learns from Klopp and be able to administer that going forward as a coach. and imply his own little interpretations.
But what it is, bro, the reason why for me, Gerrard and Klopp, for us fans are the dream team is because it is sort of the dream team. But when you own a football club, when you bring these two guys in, you'll know you're giving the power to these two guys. You understand what I mean? Instead of the owners having it. And that's what the danger is for them guys. That's why they won't do that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how football runs. That's how the world runs. People are scared of people having power. And for me,
well, that's
Klopp
what it
and
was.
Gerrard would give everything for the club. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that's what it was for one of the telling situations was, why would Alonso want to join Chelsea, a team that has sacked? I mean, they've had more managers in at their than games practically. Yeah. So why would you want to go to something even less stable than Real Madrid? Okay, that you have at least connections to, and it was a case where Chelsea said they're willing to allow for him to have real say in direction of the players and the likes that they go forward with, because they've recognized the fact that they've been making poor decisions in trying to bring in all this young, promising talent, but yet talent that is not necessarily a fit for Chelsea. And then they just figured, oh, we can get any manager that's going to be a good steward to them, and they're going to figure out a way to implement them, make the most of them, and be able to sell those commodities or assets. And that's not what you should be looking at as players, or you should not be looking at your players like that. They should be assets for your team in the sense of what they bring on the pitch to help you win silverware, not, oh, they're future commodities that we can sell. That's not how I can respect Bayern Munich, because that's what Bayern Munich does basically. They look at they don't look at it as, oh, they're commodities that they're gonna bring someone that can help their team win, rather than look at it as, oh, how much money can we make from selling this player. They're looking at the player as how many trophies can we win with this player. That's a major difference. That's what Chelsea is more of that way. So,
just is a bit disappointed that one option is out the window now. You know, Hunis from Stuttgart. I think he says he likes him as well. He's done pretty well. He's got him Champions League. He's like 4th spot. He's got him into the FA Cup final against Bayern on Saturday. So he's done pretty well this season. They sold their best striker to Newcastle. Undov's come in, done well, scores goals. So that's one option as well. I don't know, bro. Like, when you look at the world of football, it's a bit diabolical. When you look at the options out there, we need a DM. Give me a list now between us and the chat. We wouldn't be able to get a list of 5, bro, of DMs that could do a thing for Liverpool. It's weird. There's a lot of people, but not good enough, you know.
Yeah, very much so.
Harvey Elliott, for me, bro, he wasted a season. He could have done a job off the bench this season. Come on, we had three goalkeepers in the game. We had 2 sub goalies and a goalie most of the season. So trying to tell me that Harvey Elliott couldn't be one of them subs, it's ridiculous. This is what I'm saying about Slot and the regime under him. It's like he's half asleep half the time. He could have said, you know what, Harvey's been on the bench for Villa for 7 games in a row now. You know what, bring him back. He's wasted there. We'll get him involved. Like that's the sort of manager you want. You know what I mean? Harvey Elliott would have done much better with us than he did at Villa anyway. You know, so
yeah,
ridiculous things going on this season. I can't believe it. That's Edwards as well. He's there. You know, you don't see much of him in the media and stuff, but he's there calling the shots. You know.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Very much so. All right, let's get into some of these other things. Is there anything else you wanted to speak on, or anything else that's on your mind?
No, it's just been a weird phase of this. It's been one of the weirdest seasons in a long time. If you really
Mm,
look at it, I've never seen so many losses, and this has been like how many goals we've conceded. It's just like diabolical. You know,
mhm,
as I said before, bro, us lot content creators could have created a team to beat Chelsea and Tottenham. We drew against both of them. We lost to Villa. We lost to Man City and PSG 8-0. Never scored one
right,
goal against any of them teams in them 3 games. Like, come on, man. Look, we've
right.
got the World Cup coming up now, okay, and there's a lot of work to be done. And for me, we had a lot of international breaks where we had the chance to say, look, Slot's left, Stevie G's coming in as interim or whatever. Carrick did it, it worked. Chelsea didn't, it didn't work. Chelsea did it, it didn't work. So it's one of them ones. Slot, he's been lucky because the other teams around us, Villa, the main ones, and
Mhm,
Chelsea have been terrible as well. So he's got away with it there, you
mhm.
know. So the owners are lucky because for me, we need Champions League football, bro. Next season, Florian Wirtz, all these guys, they want to play Champions League football at Anfield. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Easily.
and I
Yeah.
think we missed a trick. Alonso was good for Wirtz, Alonso was good for Frimpong, got them moving, got them to be top players. He
Mhm,
was the prime guy to get. I just don't understand what we've done there. Him when I seen it yesterday that he's gone to Chelsea on Chelsea's Twitter page, I was like, yo, what world am I living in here?
mm,
Like he was a give this guy a go. Give him a season. Give Alonso a go. You know what I mean? He's a Liverpool guy.
mhm.
Yeah, he went to Real Madrid, but at the end of the day, he won a Bundesliga. Slot won the third division title. So yeah, but Alonso was
Well,
more of a player than Slot.
no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, um, a, I have a double moment of Zen. I was only going to show this moment of Zen if we had JK on the show. So I'll share with you this moment of Zen, moment of red Zen
Hmm.
at least. It's a little bit, I guess you could almost call it a moment of a blue Zen, but Coventry City are exploring a deal to sign Liverpool legend Chinny Wijnaldum, and I know that he
I
probably
heard
knows
that.
that. So it is a unique opportunity for this to
Mhm.
happen for a former, obviously, Liverpool player. They are weighing up a 1 year deal for the 35-year-old Al Etifak captain as they prepare for their return to the Premier League. It could be something of a very bold and also um, special move for them to do because
Hmm.
be bringing in a player that has football IQ, that has definitely talent, and is also knowledgeable and respected, and could be a player that, similar to Henderson, gets another opportunity to end his career possibly in the Premier League, rightfully so too. By the way, um,
Yeah,
so I thought I'd share that with the
that's
Coventry
top.
City, you know, um, uh, representation of our channel here. So, and also the fact that he's a
Well,
former.
Coventry, what they did last season was they were doing well, top of the league, and then they went through a rocky patch around the January
Mhm.
transfer window, and then they went to Brentford and got their DM and the Nigerian one, bro. As soon as he came in, bro, boom, back on it, won the league, and that's what we should have done. We should have just put a DM in, and we would have been sorted, but we didn't do it. But Ronaldo, if he goes there, fair play, it would be good for Coventry. They love Lampard. Um, we'll see how Hadji Wright gets on in the World Cup. They've got some good little players. I'll see. They definitely
We'll
need
see.
like people. For me, I think Harvey Elliott could have can do a job there.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Experience. Yeah, Harvey Elliott and Ronaldo, boom, sorted. Andy Robertson,
Very good show.
even. Well, I don't know if they can
Very good
afford the
show.
wages. That will be the big thing. Andy Robertson, it'll be a top signing for them. Top signing.
Yeah, yeah, it will be. Unfortunately, I think West Ham is the more likely team to probably see themselves
Yeah.
go Yeah, West Ham is
Down.
looking like they're going to go down in relegation.
Oh, I thought
Looks
you
like
meant for Andy Robertson. Okay,
oh
yeah, I
no
think
no
they're
no.
going down.
Yeah.
The only way if Tottenham lose tomorrow to Chelsea and they lose their next game on the last day,
Uh-huh.
I think it's Everton. I'm not sure who it is. And if they lose that and West Ham win, then West Ham stay up by a point.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yep.
So Tottenham
That would
need
be
to lose
crazy.
2 games. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy.
Yeah,
Love to
it would be
that to
crazy.
happen.
I think even if they were to draw, they still would miss out. Actually, meaning if Spurs were to draw, I think they would miss out too. I'll double check here for you because I think that it is currently West Ham is sitting on. Let me get to the points. I just played wins, draws, losses. So West Ham is sitting on 36 points. No, they're sitting on 36 points. So if they drew, they would have 39 points, and they would still move on because of goal differential. So they have to lose the last 2 games. You're right. West Ham has had the opportunity.
Chelsea,
I mean, they had it in their hands in the sense of they could have decided their own future. The sheer fact that I know they had difficult games set up with Arsenal, they had to play against and everything else, but they've, let's be honest, they've lost the last 3 games, and Spurs have won the last 2 games.
Oh, yeah. Well, West Ham have got Leeds on Sunday. Spurs have got Everton at home. West Ham at home as well to Leeds. Leeds are a good team. This is what people don't realise, what Leeds did yesterday. Leeds stopped Brighton of having a chance to take over us for the Champions League spots by beating them yesterday. Brighton, for me, had a better chance than Bournemouth to catch us because if Brighton win yesterday and then they win the last game and we didn't win, they would be taking that spot. So they're out of the equation now. So that's a blessing. So realistically, Bournemouth need to beat Man City tomorrow and win their last game against. Have a look.
Chelsea. I know, no, City. Bournemouth plays City, I think, last game.
Oh, they played Forest away as well. They played Forest away last game of the season.
Oh, last game.
Realistically, we've got Champions
Their
League.
Their next game, I think, is against City. I think their next game is against City.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow. So Spurs play Chelsea tomorrow, and Bournemouth play City tomorrow. So we need City and Chelsea to win tomorrow. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe the announcement of Pep Guardiola possibly, hanging up the boots, maybe that, or hanging up the coaching,
Yeah, I think
board.
I think Maresca will go there.
To do something.
I think the old Chelsea manager, Maresca, he's going to go there. That's why he's been at the limelight since he left Chelsea. He just put his feet up, chilled, enjoyed watching football, maybe studied Man City. He's going to go there, I think. That was his downfall, bro, announcing it when he was at Chelsea manager that he's going to Man City next. Like, come on, what you doing, bro? So that was his downfall for me.
Yeah, but he also didn't. I don't think he really cared. I mean, if anything, he's looking at it as I've got a contract. If these guys fire me, fantastic. I'm making money. I'm getting paid until Manchester City says, okay, Pep, you're out the door. So in essence, if Pep decided to stay an extra year, he probably could have said, okay, I'll chill and wait 1 extra year. I'm still gonna get paid from City. So he probably looked at it as like a win-win for himself. Oh man. Well, I said I had a double moment of Red Zen. Excuse me. And I do. That moment is this right here. Oh, Andy. It is the truth of it all. You will never walk alone should be something that we all hold dear to our hearts, and I think that we do. And what I mean by that is this is the mural. This is part of the mural that represents for the new mural, at least, that represents for Robbo. There's been, I think, 2 constructed. This is one of the 2. And it shows the amount of trophies. He's won every trophy you can, pretty much, for us. So shout out to Andy. I think it's a pretty cool mural, to say the least, that represents um, what it is to be a red.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the
That
saying
Jason did one.
was
Yeah.
um, born in, what was it? Born in Glasgow, I think, and then it says like it says like raised. It was a cool saying. It was a very cool saying. It was like made in Liverpool or something like that, something along those lines. Because it is the truth. He is definitely a born in Glasgow, made in Liverpool. That's what it was. I'll share with you that
Mm-hmm.
picture. And, if you want to see the rest of it, I was going to hold off on showing this until tomorrow, but I'll share it today. This is them painting the mural, and this is what it is. You see him painting the mural right there. Born in
Wow.
Glasgow, made in Liverpool. R. Andy Robertson, Robbo for short. To some, a legend. For all, not for some, I would say for all, a legend. I think, and it's for some maybe the best left back in Premier League histories. For others, certainly arguable to be there. I think he is personally. I have a bias though, and
I
I
think
hope
he is. Mm-hmm.
so.
Highest assists from a left back, second in defense, second as defender after Trent.
Mhm,
Come
mhm.
on, bro. It cost £5, bro. You know what I mean? Come on, you never get that no more. You will never get, for me, money wise, best ever signing in the Premier League history ever. 5 million. It ain't a free. If it's a free, it's a different kettle of fish. We had to pay for him. I think it was 5 or 6 or 7, one of them. It wasn't that much when you think about it. Salah's wages for a month.
Mm-mm.
Actually, after Ashley Cole, come on, Ashley Cole. Yeah, Ashley Cole is better. Come on, but is that them two anyway? Ashley Cole and Robertson.
I know Ashley Cole is going to be mentioned in that list. I understand it.
Yeah, Ashley Cole was bad boy. He was good.
He's a fantastic player, but I mean, like, I think that people really underestimate what I think they underestimate what Robbo has done in his career. I mean, there's no Ashley Cole was probably coveted to do the things that he did. Um, I think the rise of the levels of Robbo being against I think a generational talent in Trent Alexander-Arnold, but keeping pace with that generational talent on the other side, actually setting the bar, because it was for a long time Trent Alexander-Arnold was looked at as the assist maker, the passer, and everything else. But it was actually that man right there who had the record and who held the record for assists for quite some time in the Premier League. Should matter.
Yeah,
Should mean something.
yeah.
But you know,
And he didn't just got 80 million, from something crazy. He was just like a real cheap option, and went for it, and he smashed it, bro. Wow.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Look, oh, Andy is my call. That's my call. So yes, let us end it there. But let me say that I will be back tomorrow with a part two to this conversation. Um, it is 85th minute, I think. 85th minute, still 1-0.
Imagine
Um,
an equaliser last minute, Burnley bang.
oh, come on.
That'd be
Imagine.
great.
Imagine.
You never know, bro.
Imagine.
Imagine it happens now. You're gonna think, oh, JK was right. Yeah.
Hey, if it does, I
Oh,
will
that'd be beautiful.
all the credit. I'll give you all the credit in the world for that one.
Look, 1-0, bro. It's like, how come they can't beat Burnley? Like, smash them 3-4. You think, like, that's what I was thinking today. They're gonna go like goal difference thing, just like get loads of goals. 1-0, bro. Dodgy.
mm,
Fair play. I think Burnley, they did okay this season. Like, they're getting relegated, but they look better. They look stronger than that, but they still got relegated. Paul Barker left as well. Crazy. I thought he did pretty well with them, considering the money they spend. Considering like how much we spent and they spent, is like a different world, man.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, Burnley drew at Anfield. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I get
Beat them 1-0.
one last shout before we bounce, because I know that I didn't get the privilege of watching this individual play for Liverpool, but I know that he is a liked and loved player. Shout out to Jimmy Case. It's his birthday, so
Yeah. Happy birthday, man.
All right, people. We will be back tomorrow. We will be the second half of this story that we've been talking about. Yeah. Burnley did draw at Anfield, but they are so far working on 0 big chances, 5 shots on goal, and 3 corners. So, yeah.
I told you everything.
Yeah. He probably did. Yeah, he probably did. All right. People, join us tomorrow. You want to say peace out to the people before we bounce?
Yeah, blessed up everyone in the chat as always. Top chat, and see you in the next days as well. Yeah, 1 game left of the season as well. Crazy. It's gone wild quick in a weird sort of way. I bet in a weird way we couldn't be happier, bro. 4 competitions, didn't win none of them. I hope the season finished 2 months ago.
Yeah. For sure. A lot of us are definitely looking forward to the end of what we've seen happen here. So we'll see. But as long as we get through it together, that's all that matters. So keep your heads up and understand that we walk this together always and ever, forever. So until tomorrow, up the Reds as always is our way of saying peace out, and it is also a way of saying hope to see you tomorrow, and we do. Take care, guys.